My name is Conor Burke. I am an actor, I'm a playwright, I'm a theatre maker. I'm from Nice and I'm a former member of Kildare Youth Theatre. I write and make plays that kind of say a little bit about young Irish people that live in Ireland today, and Kildare Youth Theatre and Crooked House Theatre Company is really where I got my start. I remember when I was very young, I was a very shy person, and my parents didn't really know what to do with me because I wouldn't play any sport, but I didn't really show an interest in kind of hanging out with people and trying to get to know them. So we found KYT, and I think I joined Kildare Youth Theatre when I was 13 or 14. And I walked up the stairs here for the first time in my life, and I think it sounds kind of dramatic to say, but when I look back at it now as someone in my mid-20s, like, I think my life really changed that day. My first memory of the place is just a really welcoming atmosphere. Kildare Youth Theatre is a place where young people can come together and make work and get creative and get involved in theatre. And I like theatre that appeals to people that I grew up with. People that wouldn't usually go to the theatre. I think a lot of people have certain expectations about the theatre. They think it's for really posh people, or they think it's not for them, or they think that the stories that they go to see on stage are going to be very hard and complicated to understand, or very abstract, or very out there. So I like writing plays and making plays about people that live today, about younger people in particular in Ireland. I'm passionate about me trying to get more people that wouldn't usually buy a ticket to come and see the plays. I often find then that once young people come to see the plays that I make once, they will always come back. I'm passionate about it because I just like telling people stories. I think fundamentally that's what theatre is. Theatre is just one person standing up in front of a group of other people and telling a story. It's as simple as that. If you haven't got the story, but you've got amazing light and sound effects and different things going on, there's no substance to what you're saying. So for me, theatre is just storytelling, and I think that there's great power in that. And I think from an Irish perspective, Ireland and the Irish have a great history of kind of like immense pain and struggle, and they learned how to kind of overcome all of that, and their art and their poetry and their writing as a result of it is stronger because of that. That's why I make theatre, to just connect with people. I think it's always just about connection and trying to make people laugh, or trying to make them not cry, but trying to make them think about an issue that might be emotional, or make them kind of stop for a second. So that's what I'm really interested in. I always say to my mum or my dad, like, what would I be doing now if it wasn't for KYT? Always, I genuinely say that, because when I was 13 or 14 and I joined KYT, I always felt very different, or just odd. And then I came to KYT and I met people who may not have been like me, but who understood, like, oh, you want to be on stage and you want to write and you want to be creative and you want to mess around, like, so do I. And they would say to me, and when I'm at home and when I'm at school, I feel very weird too. And then all of a sudden I was surrounded by people that felt the way that I did, even if we were different people. And so it wasn't just the creative side, it was like having a space in which you were allowed to make mistakes because you were young and a teenager and you're figuring out who you are and where you fit into like society and the world and stuff. So fundamentally I've changed. Like, it's a whole different level. And if you look at any of the people that I went to KYT with now, we're all still friends. Like, we all live in different countries and we all work in different industries, and some people kind of took it down a professional route, some people are completely doing different things. But like, the bond that we have is unbelievable. And so I think it fundamentally changed you as a person. Yeah, this is a play of mine called Sophie, Ben and Other Problems. And a couple of years ago it was on in Newbridge in the Riverbank Arts Centre, and the show kind of went everywhere, really. Like, it was on in the Moat Theatre in Naas, Smock Alley in Dublin. It played for a month in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland. It was at 3 different theatres in London. But I started writing plays when I was in KYT. And when I was 19, I wrote a one-man show called Leaving Narnia that premiered at the International Dublin Gay Theatre Festival. And the very first time I ever put on a play anywhere in my life, ever, was in the studio space in Kildare Youth Theatre. So a couple of years later, when I came back with this play, Sophie, Ben and Other Problems, it was a mad experience for me, because I just thought of myself as a 19-year-old putting Leaving Narnia on in the studio space, so it was very full circle. Sophie, Ben and Other Problems is a show about a young couple named Sophie and Ben, and their friend James is writing his university dissertation on modern day millennial relationships and what it's like to be young and in love. And you never see James in the play, it's only Sophie, Ben, and they talk to the audience because they're giving a speech about how they met, their experiences on Tinder, their sex lives, everything. Like, no stone left unturned. And at the end of it, something really kind of sad happens. I came back in here today and the poster was hanging up in Kildare Youth Theatre on the wall. So it's kind of like when J.K. Rowling goes back to her old apartment and she sees someone has a Harry Potter book on the shelf. That's what it feels like. It got to a point in my life when I was just about to leave school, and I noticed that there was a lot of people around me that didn't want to pursue this professionally because they thought they might have pressure from their parents to become a doctor or whatever, and they were like, I don't know what to do here. Just do it. Like, if you want to do something with your life, it sounds simple, but like, not to sound like Nike, just do it. I think the thing is that like, people overcomplicate it in their heads. People say, how does he or she do that? How does he or she have a play on here? How does he or she have a play on there? How are they busy all the time? And I think the really simple thing to remember is that the reason for me that I have plays on places is because I write a play, number one, and number two, I email the play to a theatre, and number three, I ask them, do you like my play and will you put it on? And people think that there's this magic formula that you have to, like, you're walking down the street one day and people will discover you and say, oh, they look like the right person for my movie or for my play or for my TV show. No, it's about being proactive. It's about being really proactive, and there's probably, I don't know, probably a lot of things could be said about me, but I'm very stringent when it comes to things like that, and I'm always writing all the time. I write every day of my life, and when I meet people for the first time, I might pick up on their traits and like write little notes and stuff, and I'm always kind of just making my own opportunities. If all of the doors are kind of shut in your face, make sure to do the classic thing and open a window and try to look for the opportunities, because everyone is special and unique in their own ways, and there are things that I can do that you can't do, but and vice versa, there are things that you can do that I cannot do. So it's just about asking yourself, like, what is it that I'm good at and what can I offer the world? And You might surprise yourself that that answer is usually very long if you're just kind to yourself and you give yourself a pat on the back and say, no, you've done this, and just work hard and take it seriously, especially if you're in KYT at the minute and you're doing an international exchange, or you're with Peter and you're working on Shakespeare. Have the crack, have a laugh, but like take it seriously. And if people who were in KYT at my time can do it, so can you, easily.